Good morning, guys. Today, I got a couple of things I'm heading out to go do. Number one is I haven't been able to find any work here. It's been way too long. I haven't gotten added back to DoorDash, so I have seen work both out in Spokane and over on the coast. So I've decided this week, as soon as my RV park month is up, I'm bouncing. I'm going to go over to one or the other. I'm still trying to figure that out. And since I'm going to do that, I figured, what the heck, I would go ahead and do a video on stealth camping in a Class A RV.
For the day I break these chains, I'm bound for the life of the simple things.
In vans and RVs, but I've actually successfully stealth camped, quote unquote, stealth camped 3 different times in 3 different types of RVs. So that kind of makes it unique for me. I also spent 2 months here in this area stealth camping in my Class A RV. Never got bothered other than by a tweaker. And I stayed in that spot too long. But I didn't get bothered by the police. I didn't get run off by anybody. So for me, stealth camping is all about rotating your spots and not making a mess. So you leave it like you never were there. So you kind of arrive late, leave early, rotate your spots, and you generally can get away with it with anything, as long as you don't stick out too much like a sore thumb. So today I'm going to take you around to the spots that I was rotating. Coming up on our first spot, which is no secret. Pretty much everybody knows this spot at the Walmart. Oh, it looks like we got another stealth camper there, maybe. Or it could just be EMT, but wouldn't be surprised if it was a stealth camper. So right here at the Walmart, I was getting away with it once a week. I'd be over on this side, and then I would move over to the very far side of the parking lot here, you know, the next time I came in. Now, I only did this one time, but back on the back side of this BioLife, I also parked. And I did it over here on the side. Now, I don't know how well I could get away with that on a regular basis, but I was able to. Well, there's another RVer with a truck, so it must not be too crazy. Before I went into the hospital, I was actually planning to come up and park over in here. I bet you I wouldn't have had a problem getting away with it right here. I actually got away with a field like that, similar field like that, kind of compacted, for a couple weeks when I was in Phoenix area before I got run off. So, you know, it could be a really good spot to try. And I didn't do it with an RV, but these mobile drop spots with Goodwill, I've had some luck stealth camping around those. So in the van though, so if you're a vanner, you know, you can probably get away with doing something like that. A couple of spots down here. So first of all, I was pulling up right up into where this section here dead ends there, and I was parking the RV there as a place to rotate. And then further down here, that was closer to across from the townhouses here. In fact, I showed that one time, just parking right here on the side of the road. The Walmart is right there. This Lowe's had a pretty good Wi-Fi signal, and it made it a great spot to come. I went ahead and I stealth camped one night along here where the semi trucks pull over, just to see how that would go. I didn't have any problems, but I didn't do it there again, because further over here that I'm going to show you, the Wi-Fi signal was way better, number one, and number two, I was blocked from obvious view from people coming in and out of the stores. I find it's like almost like it's customers that make a bigger deal about it. I was over here. I actually parked in here a couple of times and then over here. And this was kind of like a little bit of a nomad's land zone since it was near the Petco here and near the Lowe's. Plus I got a pretty good signal from the Lowe's for Wi-Fi. That was like my favorite spot. I pushed it like 3 days, and that's when I had that run-in with the tweaker just before I went into the hospital. So I didn't have any problem with police. I didn't have any problems with store management or anything like that. But again, like, one of the things about stealth camping is like not staying around and rotating your spots, because if you don't do that, what happens is you get noticed. And that doesn't mean just from people that might run you off, but you get noticed by seedy people too. Another spot that I parked was right here, back behind this neighborhood where this concrete wall was. So it has this like wider out spot of the road, and I pulled up here and I stayed 3 different times in 2 months. Not once did I get bothered. I probably could have gotten away with it further up at different spots along here as a rotation. And there are no signs here that say no parking. This is a pretty wide road, and I imagine that you probably could get away with, you know, having it on a weekly rotation somewhere along here. It's best to sit on the 1-stories like this, so that none of the windows from the house would look straight out onto the RV, you know, like out of somebody's bedroom or something, if they just happen to look out the window to see it. And when you do these kinds of spots, the best thing is to come later, like usually after dark, and to leave first thing in the morning before anybody that's heading off to work might call. Now, this is not something where you're gonna probably see this in a lot of towns, but I was able to come up here and park in this dirt road here overnight with absolutely no problem. I just came up here ways so that I wouldn't be seen. Doing my 2-month stint, you know, doing my stealth camping thing in the Class A RV, I didn't try it, but I've had a lot of luck at like tire shops like this. So you come late after they close and you leave as soon as they open. All the time you have people parked there. Another thing that's a good thing is like mechanic shops, if they have the room, especially like heavy truck mechanic shops with your RV, because a lot of times there's vehicles parked there overnight to get worked on first thing in the morning by appointment, right? And so not only does the mechanic shop not look funny at it really, neither does anybody else or the police. Right here is my last spot, and this is at an RV dealership basically. I stayed over here a night, and then I stayed over in their regular parking lot, both on their maintenance side and then also like their regular parking lot. And I would pull in here and stay in there. I figured I could get away with it just because if anybody said anything, I actually had paid already for storage, so I figured I could just say I was there to store my RV if anybody gave me a hard time about it. But over here in their parking lot was where I came after closing hours, where you didn't have all the cars there, especially since recently they opened up with COVID. Now, I used one of those 3 spots around the RV park like, I don't know, like almost every week. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and above here, I'm gonna have a card slide in that you can click on, and that you can go to other places that I did a long time ago. I did a video when I was in Houston after I left. All kinds of spots that I stealth camped there. Especially if you're a van dweller, you can find a lot more spots in that video that'll work really good for van people that may or may not work for RVs. And then there was some stuff in there that I didn't really try anything around here. I was trying to stay within 3 miles to keep from driving much with the RV. And so everything I just showed you here was within at least 3 miles of each other, which is pretty close. Makes it easy to rotate them. So there you go. I hope that helps you guys out there a little bit. You know, I have some videos with a GMC motorhome where I spent 3 months stealth camping around Orlando, Florida, which is supposed to be really difficult to do in a GMC motorhome. So if you go and check out, I'll go ahead and have it scrolling. It'll be another card. I'll go ahead and click on that. You can see some of the spots that I actually stayed with the GMC motorhome when I was there. I'll see if I can find some stuff that was while I was in California, when I was in San Diego. San Diego is supposed to be really hard, and I spent 3 months, almost 3 months there. Not quite 3 months, but really close. 2 weeks I had my 1,000 Trails park, and then I spent a week out stealth camping, and then 2 weeks in the park, a week out stealth camping for, yeah, I think it was close to 3 months. And I had no problem until I got lazy and I spent 5 days in a row in my favorite spot that I didn't think anybody would ever mess with me, and I got a ticket. And once I got a ticket for being there, then I was on the radar, and everywhere I tried, I ended up getting the police called or given a warning or run off or something. So if you're ever in San Diego, the big thing is to not get on the radar. Get out there, connect with people, live your big story, and make sure you do something every single day to reduce world suck. Peace, guys.